Hello, I hope all is progressing well. Welcome to I Don't Know, We Can Talk About It, where we discuss myriads of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. Our first topic is about vaccination. Whether vaccination is necessary is for a family, an individual to personally assess, especially considering when an individual may have an allergy situation in connection with a vaccination. So one must adhere to one's health personally when even thinking about engaging in any vaccination type procedure. Now, being able to exempt oneself or exempt one's child from vaccination is fair. I feel as though medical responsibility needs to be set of parameters considering liability away from the entity that is not making the health decision that may have to deal with any adverse health consequences. So if any seeks to be exempt from vaccination, then one is to be fully responsible for any adverse health situation in connection with not having vaccination. Now, one might wonder, what of the community? Will natural immunity be what results? Is there to be a reliance on natural immunity, considering if the broader population of a particular environment, the larger of where one that might not receive a vaccination might be entering? There are questions to consider. So, to be fair as well as responsible, these parameters need addressing. How much more research comes about from what may be of any receiving or opting away from vaccination may prove extremely beneficial to determining what other pathways may be available for individuals, even considering potentially having different forms of medical attention that may not necessarily be a vaccination, though may be of a form which allows one to build a natural immunity. Of course, assessing one's health personally is extremely important before navigating into parameters of the medical realm. Our next topic is of the dress codes. Is a dress code necessary? Even in an environment requiring uniform, one may find dress code situations. disclose costs. If a dress code does not acknowledge what an individual may be experiencing personally, if a financial situation is creating a situation for an individual to have to attend school wearing particular clothing, then a blind spot is very apparent within the dress code, which may cause adverse situation for an educational environment, for an educational entity. Now, etiquette is important to address, ensuring individuals are aware of how to communicate with each other, regardless of what one is wearing, regardless of what one's external appearance may be, is extremely important. It is important to address certain parameters of health that may allow for an educational environment, for educational entities to recognize if a situation needs addressing. If, for example, an individual is giving off a scent that becomes stronger day after day after day, then one may be ready to engage with how the individual is experiencing hygiene with the individual in a personal space, which will not be invasive through a public sphere, though engaging with what an individual might be going through personally. A dress code does not benefit anyone if not being able to address what may be circumstantially non-apparent, especially considering every individual may be coming from a different background. The idea is to ensure individuals are able to be responsibly, regardless of attire, in an environment to be efficacious, to learn, to grow, to be efficient human beings, external academia, and beyond. So, do I feel a dress code is necessary? No. I do feel if an individual comes to a particular experience because of attire, because of dress, then the addressing of the experience is necessary, not just for an individual and any entity that may be a part of the experience, though broadly for the entire educational environment, so as to create a culture of good communication, better behavior, better responses. Because when one situation may happen, the guarantee of a similar situation happening is not a guarantee. So it's important to be able to have these forums to engage with the educational environment in ways that benefit everyone, more so than simply addressing a silo that may become reoccurring, if not of a broader awareness. Now, there's a possibility that of a broader awareness, individuals may begin to pay more attention to dress, to what may be. And the reality is the social dynamic is necessary so individuals are awake to how responses may be, so individuals become more efficient, become more effective at communicating, especially with regard to the topics, especially when external and academic environment. When individuals are able to communicate of the topics, responding well about what is at hand, then individuals may be able to build more socially, emotionally well, beyond only regulations and rules that may seem to be of bias, that may seem to be affecting how individuals feel to express themselves. Of course, the dress code falls in line with a boundary that may prove challenging for an educational environment, a boundary that might really be unnecessary to agitate because of a stubbornness of a dress code, which may be coming about for whatever reason. If individuals are to be of an educational environment for many hours of a day, there are ways to ensure individuals feel more comfortable, more at ease, more human, if one will, without enforcing rules, without enforcing regulations. Because there are social dynamics that need attention from individuals that need to learn how to respond to these situations of themselves, of which good advising may prove beneficial, though does not mean will be of a final determination. All right, let's do some origami. Today's origami, the origami bird. I have a square sheet of origami paper I'm folding just one corner to one corner. Then I'll open it and I will fold in the corner toward the middle line. Another way to understand it is I will fold the edges to meet in the middle of this line at the center here. Okay. Next, I will have this flap up top. I will fold it back. So now, after folding this back, I will fold in these corners right down the middle. These corners are going to help us expand this. So it's very important. Next, if you want, you can fold it on the other side as well to make the fold to come much easier. Okay? So now we'll fold it back here again after that fold, and we're going to open it. This is very important. We're going to open it, and we're going to just press it down. We have to fold it pretty good here. So we're going to keep this fold, press it down. Okay, so obviously, I have to show it to you on that one. I'm folding it, opening the fold, opening the fold. See this? I'm going to open the fold, press this point down to the middle, then I'm going to just take this portion here and press it in. Next, I'm going to fold up as so. See this portion here? Just going to fold it, this little corner, fold it up so it can meet. Okay. Afterward, I'm going to close this portion here. Ta-da! Next, you can see we have feet. Next, what we're going to do is take this portion of the head here. So I'm going to bend it down, bend this corner down. And the other way, you can bend it down right here. And afterward, open it up. Boom. So that opening part after the bend gives two nice portions here that allow us to flatten and form a head. Next, we have our tail. We're gonna fold it in twice. You can fold your tail how you want, though the idea is to fold it in and then have another fold in. You can have it higher or lower, either way, they're both going to be put to use. So you can always get a stronger fold when you're going to open them by just folding it to both sides. Okay. Next, we're just going to open this tail. As you can see, one hook goes in to the other. Okay. Now, boom, you see the inside here. Now, if you really want to have a nice standing bird, you can just spread the legs there. Here's the birdie. See that? Another idea is, if you like, you can form the feet in, just pressing it down a little bit. And you see this here. You see now it has a little bit more base at the bottom. So this way you can give yourself a bird with a little bit of a different balance, especially if you're going to have it sitting somewhere. All right, our next topic is about reading. I champion reading physical books. When one reads a physical book, one's brain physically changes. Long-term health benefits from reading a physical book. Today's book, I Moved Your Cheese, a response to the book, Who Moved Your Cheese? I find the text funny because the text branches from an emotional response, engaging the parameters of who moved your cheese through I moved your cheese, indicating that one has a different measure of control, though the text seems to revolve in the world of who moved your cheese. So what seems parabolic, if one will, what seems of a parable, if one will, what seems able to understand through abstract means, through identifying creatively with the text of who moved your cheese, is happening through I moved your cheese. I don't find the text irrelevant. I do find the impact of who moved your cheese through this individual to be comically beneficial, to provide a different perspective of who moved your cheese, though to provide a different perspective of understanding how one may apply the elements of who moved your cheese in one's life. How encouraging, how empowering, how creative to move through I moved your cheese to engage with understanding context of who moved your cheese for the masses to navigate the elements differently. Thank you for joining. I don't know. We can talk about it. Onward and Upward, Kevin Dufresne.